Have you ever looked at someone who wakes up at 5 a.m., hits the gym, and works 10-hour days with a smile and wondered, what is wrong with me? You try to copy them. You buy the planner, you write the goals, and you promise that Monday is the day, but by Wednesday you're back on the couch, phone in hand, feeling like a failure. Most people believe that a lack of discipline is a character flaw, a weak, shameful trait that some people are born with and others are not. But this view is completely misguided. What few people know is that discipline, as it is generally understood, actually goes against the way the human brain is designed to operate. This isn't just a metaphor, it is a neurobiological fact. Your brain did not evolve to prioritize long-term goals or heroic self-control. It evolved for one thing: immediate survival. Today, we're going to stop trying harder and start designing smarter. We're going to look at why your brain is biologically programmed to keep you lazy and the 3 hacks to trick that wiring into making hard work inevitable. This is Why We Wire. To understand your struggle, you have to realize that you are running 2 million-year-old software on modern hardware. For most of human evolution, our ancestors lived in hostile environments where resources were scarce. In that world, the only priority was surviving until the next day. Because of this, your brain adapted to prioritize immediate rewards. Eating now was more important than storing for later. Sleeping more was safer than taking risks. In other words, your brain does not want you to go to the gym. It wants you to stay on the couch, because that saves energy. It doesn't want you to write a report or study a technical book. It wants you to open TikTok, because the dopamine comes faster with 0 energy cost. This is not a defect, it is simply biology. The problem is that modern society demands the opposite. We are expected to behave like focused, resilient supercomputers, but we're still carrying the brain of a lazy hunter-gatherer. When you try to force discipline through willpower, you are trying to overcome millions of years of evolutionary programming with a handful of motivational phrases. And guess what? It doesn't work. Most people try to bridge this gap using willpower. They think willpower is like a moral muscle that just needs to be squeezed. But in the world of neuroscience, willpower is fragile and it crumbles in the face of a poorly designed environment. Your brain operates on something called cognitive ease, a biological tendency to always choose the path of least resistance. This choice isn't even conscious, it happens before you even decide to act. Your brain is not rational, it is efficient. It doesn't choose what is best for your future self, it chooses what requires less energy right now. This is why motivation is overrated. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are volatile. If you constantly need to rely on willpower, you are fighting against the natural structure of your brain. That is a battle you will always lose, because eventually, fatigue wins. When you are tired, your brain goes back to autopilot, and the autopilot always chooses the easiest path. So if willpower isn't the answer, what is? James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, revealed that real discipline comes from design. The most consistent people aren't stronger or more motivated, they have simply created environments that make the right behavior easy, automatic, and inevitable. This is called choice architecture. Think about a famous study where researchers changed the position of water bottles in a cafeteria. By simply placing water at the front and moving soda to the back, water consumption increased and soda consumption dropped without a single motivational speech or prohibition. The environment changed, the decision became easier, and the brain followed the path of least resistance. You need to stop relying on self-control and start designing your space as if you were an engineer of your own mind. Look at your current environment. Is it designed for the person you want to be? If you want to work out, but your clothes are crumpled at the bottom of a drawer and your sneakers are in the car, the path to the gym is laborious. Meanwhile, the couch is 3 steps away and your phone is already in your hand. The brain isn't choosing between good and bad, it's choosing between easy and hard. To trick your brain, you have to set traps for your future self. Want to read more? Leave the book on your pillow, not in a drawer. Want to stop being distracted? Turn off notifications and hide the device. Want to work out? Leave your clothes ready next to the bed. When a healthy decision becomes the simplest option, the brain does not resist it. Disciplined people are just smarter at setting up their rituals and triggers so that the right behavior requires less energy than the wrong one. But what if you could go beyond just changing your room? What if you could hack the habits your brain already performs on autopilot? This is the power of habit stacking. Your brain already has highways that are deeply paved: brushing your teeth, making coffee, locking the front door. Habit stacking connects a new desired action to an existing habit loop. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 2 minutes. By doing this, you are leveraging a cue that is already rooted in your brain to implant a new action with much less resistance. This creates a kind of neural coupling. You are hijacking your automatic routine to hack discipline. Why does this work? Because it eliminates the biggest barrier, the start. Initiating an action requires a massive spike of mental energy, but once you're in motion, inertia takes over. If your habits are failing, it's not because you're lazy, it's because your system is poorly designed. James Clear outlines 4 invisible laws that make any habit easy to maintain. 1. Make it obvious. What is visible is what will be done. If the study material is buried in a backpack, it won't happen. If it's open on the table, it's obvious. 2. Make it attractive. The brain needs a win. Pair a task you dislike with something you enjoy, like a favorite drink or a specific playlist. 3. Make it easy. This is the 2-minute rule. A habit must be reduced to its simplest form so it's impossible to say no. Don't study for an hour, just study for 5 minutes. 4. Make it satisfying. The brain needs to feel a sense of completion. Make marks on your progress board or give yourself a small reward. When you follow these laws, procrastination ceases to be a mystery and becomes a warning sign that you have a design problem, not a character flaw. There's a dangerous idea in productivity culture that you need to love the journey to be disciplined. This is false. Highly productive people don't wake up every day wanting to do the hard work. They don't have infinite energy. What they have is a structure that ensures the right actions happen even when they don't feel like it. Imagine wanting to run in the morning. On 9 out of 10 days, you will wake up without the desire. Your body will crave sleep. But if your shoes are by the bed, your alarm is across the room, and a partner is waiting for you on the corner, the act of running hasn't become more fun, it has just become inevitable. You don't need to like discipline, you just need to make it part of your identity so it ceases to be a choice. The final, most transformative level of change is your identity. James Clear argues that the deepest level of behavior change is not what you want to achieve, but who you decide to be. Identity shapes habits, and habits reinforce identity. Every small decision you make is a vote for the person you wish to become. Every time you train when you don't feel like it or choose a book over a screen, you are telling yourself, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done. This is more powerful than any motivational video. You aren't just trying to act differently, you are becoming someone different. When your identity changes, behavior follows naturally. Real discipline is simply the reflection of a mind that has learned to play the right game. If you've made it this far, you have a choice. You can continue blaming yourself for not being strong enough, or you can start today to build the environment and identity that make discipline inevitable. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop punishing yourself for not having infinite willpower. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough to let the system do the work for you. So what is the first habit you will redesign starting today? Comment below, because the simple act of writing is already a vote for your new identity. If this video made you rethink how you view your own brain, subscribe to Why We Wire. We go deeper than just motivational phrases to show you the machinery behind your behavior. Remember, you aren't fighting yourself. You're just learning to be the engineer of your own force. Let's start wiring something better today. Thanks for watching.